Hello and welcome. It's good to see everyone here in the Spirit Plant Medicine community today. My name is Mark Cron, and I'm here with our co-producer, co-organizer, and MC of the Spirit Plant Medicine Conference, Stephen Gray. And we're here really excited to talk about and announce the upcoming event, what we are now kind of dubbing as Spirit Plant Medicine Monthly. With the changes in the world today, we don't know when we can ever really convene in a conference style session. So we've decided to do a monthly webinar with different topics, different guests that'll leave you educated, informed, inspired, and with the intention to give you something to think about and possibly something to change your life or the lives of others. So welcome, Stephen. Always a pleasure to connect with you.
Hey, Mark.
Well, I know we've got this Thursday at 4 o'clock, we've got a great event coming up that I know we both got quite excited about when the idea passed your mind in terms of this particular plant medicine. So maybe you can tell everybody what we're doing.
Yeah, I'd say this one you mentioned, that's to help yourself and to help others, and this one definitely falls into both categories. The helping others might even be sort of primary here, because what this plant needs is legalization and societal recognition. So yes, it came about from a little Casey McFarlane was doing an interview with Wade Davis recently, and she asked me to help out with that. And before we hit the record button, we got into talking about Coca for some reason I don't recall. And Wade is just an encyclopedic source of information on Coca. And so I said, well, wait a minute, let's hit the record button and keep talking about Coca. And the whole hour ended up being about Coca. And I got really excited, and I really did actually, because the impression I came away with after hearing Wade talk about it is that this is a plant that needs attention. It's a great plant. It can, I don't know, who else would say this, but I would say it could replace to a large degree coffee culture. We have Coca culture. Because it has the same sort of stimulating effects, but many people would say better, like more effective, smoother, gentler. Um, and also, I think in particular when it's combined with a couple of adjunct plants like lime or something similar, even baking soda, a couple of other things that activate the nutrients in it, it's apparently loaded with nutrients, vitamin C and a number of other minerals and so on. And so not only is it has great potential for perking people up in a really nice way. Oh, and also on that note, people like Wade use it creatively. It stimulates sharp thinking and helps him a lot with his writing. So it has a lot of potential that way. And then on the larger level, legalizing coca could make a huge beneficial difference to cultures, people like campesinos, peasants, farmers, etc., in places like Colombia and surrounding countries where the plant grows naturally. They are already growing coca illegally, as you know, for cocaine. And if governments could give them the right to grow coca legally, and for the market around the world, could make an incredible difference to
Mm.
the livelihood of these people and also the safety, because if they don't have to grow it for the cartels or whoever they are, then they're going to be way better off, way safer. So I think it's really important. And so Wade, of course, is what I would call a legendary anthropologist, recipient of many awards, such as the prestigious Order of Canada, author of over 24 books, just a wonderful source of information and inspiration for us on biodiversity and cultural diversity and issues like that. And then there's Dana Larsen, who is our favorite revolutionary, or one of them anyway. He led the way in Vancouver for years and years as one of the little small handful of people pushing for cannabis legalization, and no doubt had an influence on the fact that that actually happened in Canada. Uh, Fearless, guy, like he's not going to let the authorities tell him what not to do. And now that has moved over to Coca. He
Well, he
Dana
also
said,
did mushrooms too, right?
"Oh
So
yeah,
just an interesting thing, because just as a side note, I remember he spoke at our
yeah,
Cannabis 101
he
that we
did,
did with the young ladies a couple of
yeah,
years ago.
yeah,
And I
yeah,
remember because his partner was going, "Oh my God, I can't believe he just did that," because he left that conference and went and opened up his mushroom dispensary for
yeah,
that day, right?
absolutely."
So yeah,
Um,
he's a guy who really he's great at really seeing trends, knowing what's coming next, and like you
mhm.
said, fearless in terms of getting the word out and making a difference for
Yeah,
sure.
so he's opened this store in Vancouver called a Coca Leaf Cafe, and it's the only, according to Dana, the only store like it in North America. The only store openly selling coca. So he sells it in a variety of forms, coca leaf that has been ground up, for tea or for chewing. He makes gum. There's a few ways that people can get it. So he's the thin edge of the wedge here. I hope he's the cutting edge for sure, and he's also like Wade. He's a really articulate, passionate guy. So the two of them are going to have a great time with this. We're going to have Wade talk for 20 to 30 minutes about the whole scenario around Coca, and then Dana is going to come in and talk a little bit about more of what's going on in his world with Coca for 20 minutes or so. Then we're going to have the two of them sit down and talk with each other. And if they run out of questions, which I kind of doubt with people like that, then you and I will weigh in and ask questions. And then we'll open it up to audience questions for another half hour. The whole thing will take about 2 hours, maybe a little less. And Dana,
Yeah,
by the way, is also going to give away or give out at the end. If you folks, if you stay with this right to the end, Dana's going to give a password or whatever you call it, passcode for a discount on select products at the shop. Unfortunately, they're not shipping yet. They're working on it, so you have to be able to get to the shop at 651 East Hastings in Vancouver.
nice. Well, I know how excited you got about this topic when you saw Casey's episode with Wade, and that's always exciting. And I know as soon as we posted it, we got a huge response really quickly.
Hmm.
So I think it's really timely. Coke is not something that has really come across the radar so much compared
Not
to
so much.
cannabis, mushrooms, LSD, MDMA lately. Coca hasn't been talked about as
Mm.
much, and it just reminded me when you told me about that. The when we interviewed the first conference I'd organized for spirit plant medicine, you and I went out to UBC and interviewed Wade Davis,
Yep.
and he told us a story about someone who was having a challenge right in their book, and he says, "Oh, just chew some coca leaf, you'll get her done." And it
Yeah,
was funny because I was
exactly.
inspired by that and curious, and I actually went down to the Urban Shaman that was still open at the time, and they had some coca leaf, and what I found was it was really great for energy, focus,
Mm.
clarity,
Yep.
you know
Yep.
and because it was in its natural plant form,
Yes, absolutely.
you feel good about it, right? And you're
Yes,
getting it as a balanced plant. So
and
yeah, it
people
was
people
amazing.
who have in their minds, I don't know how many of the people that are going to see this or go to the webinar, think that coca, or associate coca with cocaine, but it shouldn't be essentially. As Wade likes to say, comparing coca to cocaine is like comparing potatoes to vodka. Coca is a gentle, natural plant with a smooth, stimulating effect and a lot of nutrients. Cocaine, in Wade's words, is an ugly drug.
Hmm. Well, and
So
this is
it's not addictive. That's people need to know that. This plant needs to be legalized. It needs to be advocated for. It needs activists like Dana Larsen and educators and advocates like
mhm,
Wade Davis, and that's what this is about.
yeah,
It's for the benefit of everybody.
yeah. And as a side note to what you said about potatoes to vodka, I remember doing an interview years ago with the woman by the name of Sherry Strong, who's an anti-sugar advocate.
Uh huh.
And she was saying that anytime you take something green, like a plant, and make it white,
Yeah.
it's a drug. and she was referring to sugar, cocaine, or
Yeah.
heroin, which I don't think is white 'cause I've never seen it. But anyways,
No, I haven't either,
it's
but it comes from a plant.
exactly. And
Yeah.
then, just the fact of what
Originally.
sugar does to our opioid receptors and everything else compared to, some of these drugs that be derived from it.
Yeah.
And in all of the conversations we've had over the years, plants are medicine in their natural form, and the importance for the spirit of the plant, of all the components that make that up. When you
Yeah.
strip it down to things, it loses its, um, kind of its
Well, it's
full.
just a totally different thing. It's the
Mhm.
concentrated alkaloid, or I assume it's an alkaloid. I haven't looked into that, but it's like the super, super, super concentrated alkaloid that has been extracted from the plant. And I think one thing I'm picking up on from what you've just said, Mark, too, is at least what's hitting me is that there's another even larger level to this, which is as an example, maybe even one of the sort of the forerunners, along with cannabis, of what is a drastically or urgently needed refocus or reconfiguration of attitude about plants and plant medicines. Coca's
Mhm.
just a plant. Well, coffee's a plant too, but but coca could be part of our culture, and it's a pure plant in itself. So I'd love to see it, and I'd love to see it be part of the culture.
Well,
It
and
should
this
be.
is, and I agree, and this is where education is really important about
Yeah,
changing people's paradigms and thought process, and what's a
yeah,
drug to what that is. And plants are plants brought here by the great creator as part of Mother Earth and the universe.
mm-hmm.
Doesn't make sense to be illegal, and to,
No,
they're here for a reason, and they're here for our medicine, the animals' medicines, nature's medicine. And I think every plant has, as we know, has its own spirit, its own attributes that benefit, you
yeah.
know, our body and our health.
So that's what we're doing on Thursday,
Awesome.
4 p.m. Pacific, in case
4
someone's
p.m.
listening to this
Pacific.
in Europe or elsewhere. 4 p.m. this Thursday, Pacific Daylight Time.
Yeah,
Free,
and it's
unless you
free
want
or
to
by
donate.
donation. Yeah.
We very much appreciate donations to keep the organization going for these it's educational based donations. Yeah. And so they'll talk
Absolutely.
about, the history of it. They'll talk about current situation. They'll talk about, the cultural, political, economic, social situation. Talk about methods of using it. Talk, and presumably Dana will talk about advocacy toward legalization and so on. And they'll answer people's questions.
I love it. Well, Stephen, thank you so much for setting that up. I think it was great, a great topic, and really something that hasn't been talked about for a while openly that I've seen in the community. So I'm looking forward to a good turnout and some really interesting questions, because I know I've got some.
And don't forget, if you stay till the end, Dana's going to give you a password to come if you're within, reach of Vancouver, to come to his Coca Leaf Cafe, which again is at 651 East Hastings in Vancouver. And
And we
we don't
might
get any
have a few
benefit from
other
saying this,
get.
folks.
No, no, of course.
We're not getting
Oh,
a profit from telling you this. We just want to advocate for this potential of what Coca could be.
absolutely. So that's fantastic. Thanks for arranging that again, Stephen. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out in the comments below on this post. And we look forward to seeing you on Thursday at 4 o'clock Pacific, 7 Eastern. Until next time, everyone, take care.